I am Brad Keelor. He is Ryan Beemer. Coming up next on Director's Cut, we're all these episodes in and we have another exciting new topic, fossilized poop.
I'm going for a walk, not the after dinner kind. I'm gonna use my hands, and I'm gonna use my mind. And who the hell are you to tell me what to do? You can't even tie your own handkerchief.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Director's Cut. My name is Brad Keelor. I'm the director of the Geo-Institute, and that is why we call this show Director's Cut. Every single week, until someone relieves me of my duties, I sit down with a different GI member who has stories to tell. Some of them are personal, some are professional, but all of them are fun. If you don't know anything about the Geo-Institute, after you watch this here interview today, you should head over to geoinstitute.org, where we will answer all the questions you have ever had about us, including that we are a technical society with about 12,000 members, most of whom are geotechnical engineers and or geologists, and that we are part of the American Society of Civil Engineers. And if you like what you see today, and can Carl give us a yes, Ryan, that we're going to like it? That's what he does. I mean, he bobbles. You should click like, subscribe, and get notifications, and we will let you know every time we post something to the YouTube channel. Joining me from the southwest corner, well, not quite the southwest corner, but pretty close, of Virginia, where he is a faculty member at, I never remember the whole thing, so we'll just go with Virginia Tech. It's the
Sounds
Virginia
great.
Polytechnic and State Institute.
Something like that. Honestly, since I'm brand new, I'm still trying to figure all this out.
It is Ryan Beemer. Ryan, welcome. Thank you for doing this.
Well, thank you so much. I'm excited to be on the show. I've been watched tons of episodes, and I'm elated.
That makes me happy because it means things are going to go well. We have 10 questions for you, the same way that we do every week. 2 of them are the same. We start with one of those. Describe your job in 45 seconds.
Yeah, so I'm an new assistant professor at Virginia Tech University, and my specialty is marine geotechnical engineering. Here I teaching the Introduction to Geotechnical Engineering class, and I'll be teaching graduate classes on the marine geotech side, and then do a bunch of research and get to go, like I tell the kids, I have the best job ever. I get paid to play in the mud, go out in the lab, get my hands dirty, and run experiments.
When you tell that to kids, because obviously that's a line that many geotechs have used throughout history, do they buy it? Do you feel like they think you're having fun?
I hope so. They seem to. I think the line they like better is when I throw on the end is I get paid to play in the mud and my mom can't be upset when I come home with muddy clothes.
Very nice. Very nice. I like that addition. We will talk a little bit later about your research, and we teased it at the beginning, so no one's turning away now because this is the first time we've talked about fecal matter on the show. But we got to get to some fun questions, too. Some non-research ones, some non-work ones. Ryan, we start with this. What's the last song that got stuck in your head?
So, hopefully I can stump you with this one. You haven't heard of them before. I know you're very versed. Actually, the last song I got stuck in my head was Too Late for Lovers by Jen Wigmore.
Yeah, you got me.
So this will relate to further down. Jen Wigmore, she is, kind of the pop rock folk singer from New Zealand. So with my Oceania travels, ended up running into her music. So my music tastes are pretty narrow. I grew up in Southern California, so love pop punk ska. Punk. From LA. When YouTube Music, or I'm not sure if it's to say brands or not, but when my music streaming service,
there are no rules on Director's Cut, Ryan.
So my music streaming service, when it pops up in the morning, like, do you want to listen to Jim Wigmore, ZZ Ward, that type of music, or do you want to listen to your angry morning music, which is all the punk bands?
I like that. So, well, here we'll follow up with this. Well, first we'll put a link to some of her music down in the notes
Doobly doo.
below where you're watching this. Do you find that the algorithm works for you when you get those suggestions, or does it just feed you with more of the stuff you've always listened to?
Well, see, this is the bad thing because my taste is so narrow. I want all the stuff that I normally listen to. Started listening to ZZ Ward because of the Jim Wigmore that they made that recommendation. So that's been good so far. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it will make this request. I'm like, thumbs down. No, give me some more punk. In ska. That's
All right.
So I'm probably not the best person to ask.
Give us the 3 bands that pop up the most in that ska and punk list.
Probably Bad Religion, Less Than Jake, and The Descendants.
Oh, very nice, Ryan. Very nice. I like that a lot. Favorite Bad Religion album?
Okay, that's where I'm bad. Or, well, not necessarily bad, but maybe it'll be unusual. I have a tradition of every fall semester when I grade exams, I listen to Bad Religion's Christmas album.
Which is excellent. We have used one of those songs in Director's Cut. I can't remember when we did it, but it was one of the Christmas episodes, obviously. Yeah. And it is. There is no greater moment than when you can listen to 5 atheists sing and play "Hark the Herald Angels Sing."
Exactly.
My pitch is going to be for everybody to go, if you've never listened to Bad Religion, start with All Ages, compilation of theirs that covers 1980 to 1995, get your feet wet, and then dive in. That's where I'm going to go with that. Oh, that was fantastic.
And I will throw out for the people that maybe are not as open to that type of music. Greg Graffin, the lead singer, has a fabulous book that he wrote because he's actually a professor at UCLA now.
Yep.
And so he wrote a book, Anarchy Evolution, about the intermixing of the LA punks or the punk scene and science and academics, because it's not just him. It's Dexter Holland from Offspring has a PhD, and Milo from The Descendants has a PhD and worked for Dow Chemical for a number of years, and then the keyboardist for Queen. I mean, not punk, but rock. He has a PhD in like astrophysics and actually actively does work for NASA now. And some of the images that come out of NASA, you'll see that he's credited with help working on those images. So there's kind of this interception of music, punk music and rock music and the sciences that is kind of unique. And Greg Graffin's book is fantastic on it.
We can put a link in the show notes to that one too. You never know what you're going to get on Director's Cut, which is why. The third question is always the research question. Ryan, after we started talking, it was pretty obvious where this was going to go today. All I'm going to say, you know what I wrote in my notes for this question? Poop. Going to talk about fossilized fecal matter. Ryan, take it away.
Yeah, no, it's I say I've been very fortunate to be able to do offshore marine engineering, and the thing that I love the most about it is the soils are just so unique offshore. Part of that is due to the chemistry. You have a lower pH. You're in the 8.3, 8.5 range. That means that there's minerals that are stable in the ocean water that would never be stable in the rainwater. So one of the big ones is like calcium carbonate sediment that we have. Like calcium carbonate is the most prominent globally sediment in the world. It's just only under the ocean water because the moment it gets on shore, it gets rained on and turns to limestone. But you also get other unique things in. The one that I've had the fortune of working on recently with Zach Westgate and Don DeGroot and my colleagues is glauconitic soil. And this stuff is just so fascinating. Basically how it forms is you have an area that has these really active seabeds where tons of marine life, tons of organic material. You got these polychaete worms and starfish and mussels and stuff going and chowing on the sediments, getting all their nutrients. As the soil goes through their gut, it gets processed and then contracted. And if you remember back to your introduction to geo class, when you get some stress on soil, it consolidates. And so you get these little consolidated pellets that are mainly clay minerals, but have all this other organic material in them. And you get these areas with just tons and tons of biological activity. The whole seabed turns into these little pellets. Now you let that sit for a long time. You kind of cut off some oxygen, but leave it exposed to the ocean water. It starts absorbing all these minerals and turning into little fossils. And you end up with this really unique soil called glauconite. Some of the people watching this may have heard of this before. One of the areas onshore where it's prominent is in New Jersey, on the western side of New Jersey. So basically all that farmland that goes down from, say, Red Bank down to Philadelphia, that is a lot of glauconitic soil in there. And it works really well for farmland because it has a lot of potassium in it. So the plants love the potassium, what plants crave. And not sure if you got that reference, but and so it's all that farmland. So they haven't done a ton of building in it. And usually, say when the New Jersey DOT runs into it, they just try to bypass it, put some piles through it, not deal with it, because even though it's kind of fossilized, they're not very hard fossils. When you say drive a pile through it, ends up breaking apart, and there's still clay minerals within there that get released. So when you're at low stresses, it behaves like a sand. When you're at high stresses, it behaves like a clay. And so, most of our design methods are, okay, do you have a clay? Use this. Do you have a sand? Use this. Not, do you have something that starts as a sand turned into a clay? So, these things are being found offshore. It's something that the Department of Energy is looking into, the U.S. Geological Survey, on the possible impact for offshore wind. And because they're concerned with the same thing. They need to drive these big monopiles into the ground. They need to put cables coming back to shore. And they're running into this weird soil that's really only been found in New Jersey and then has been kind of avoided. And so, yeah, we have a big joint industry research project that Zach Westgate at UMass Amherst is leading on. And, I'm helping him with a lot of the microscopic analysis and particle behavior side of things. And we just get to play with all these fossilized fecal pellets and have a jolly old time.
So let's set a little more context for some of this then. What geologic era are we talking about primarily for the creation of these?
Okay, so it's going to range, but the stuff that we're mainly interested in, I guess, let me ask you a quick question before we move on. Pretend like you're a student in my class. Were you a dinosaur kid growing up? Did you have all the plastic dinosaurs and all the books and stuff in your?
Of course.
Okay, so have you heard of something called the KPG boundary?
I don't know that I have, but I've forgotten a lot of my.
So this is the very geological term for the era where the meteorite hit and wiped out the dinosaurs. So that's the region where it hit. Below it, you got dinosaurs. Above it, no dinosaurs. So the some of the sites we've looked at, especially onshore New Jersey, there's glauconite above and below the KPG. So, it was great working with, we also work with the geologist at Rutgers University. We had to bring in the New Jersey people on the project. And so got a great picture of Ken Miller, the geologist, standing next to a creek bed, and where he's gone and sketched on it. Here's the KPG. Below it, there's the one glauconite formation. Above it is a different glauconite formation. So we're talking right around the era that the dinosaurs got wiped out.
That is amazing. I feel like we could do a whole show just on this, but I think that's going to have to wait. Because what's sad is that sometimes I just have to keep the follow-up questions to myself, because otherwise we'll just go like this. And we have really important.
Social person at Geo-Congress. So anyone wants to chat about fossilized poop, I am open.
Ryan's on it. So, we do have really important stuff to get to here. This is no exception. Ryan, you have maybe the most immaculate beard within the Geo-Institute. I got to give Stokey some points. His is a little longer, but it's still very nicely done. Ryan, break down your beard maintenance routine for everybody.
Biggest thing, moisturize. We got to moisturize that beard. I'm a big bar soap person. I got tired of throwing away all those plastic containers of soap, so switched over to the bar, and I found out you can get bar conditioner. So I get the bar conditioner and condition the beard.
You just changed a lot of people's lives. Do you have to order this? Is it available in stores?
I order them online. I think there's who's the group? There is one of the grocery chains does have it in stores, because I have ordered online from, which I can't remember the specific grocery chain at the moment, but I know at least one of them does have it, and I think a couple of the drugstores do have the bar conditioner.
Okay.
Yeah. So, get in there with the shampoo, the shampoo. I do bar shampoo as well. Then hit it with the conditioner. Then when I get out of the shower, it's I got the beard volume enhancer, the beard balm. Yeah. And then for the maintenance daily, I'm also sticking with the reducing waste, helping the environment, a safety razor guy. So I got this really kind of narrow safety razor that lets me get in all the fine edges. And so do the safety razor every morning. Got the brush in the soap to foam up, like in the old movies, put it on. And then every few weeks I go and I got a whole beard trimmer set. I trim the beard myself. I go to a barber for the hair, but I've always done the beard trimming and length maintenance myself.
How long did it take you to get into this routine? Because, I mean, to an outsider, it seems pretty challenging, right? Like, how long did it take you to figure all this out?
It took a while. So, I mean, the bar conditioner I only found out about maybe about 5 years ago. So I probably had the beard now for about 10 years. And so, yeah, so about halfway through, I figured out the bar conditioner. And then I've been doing the balm a bit before that. And then switched over to the safety razor about the same time I did the bar conditioner. I got a big kick of, just looking around and seeing all the plastic containers I was throwing away, and trying to, okay, how can I reduce the waste? And, back in the day, they had these other things. Let me try them out. And honestly, like for the shavers out there, the safety razor works phenomenal, and the blades are like 10 cents. So I always have a fresh blade in there, never get nicks or scratches, and don't have to buy the expensive cartridges. It's phenomenal.
This is why people are watching Director's Cut right here. Forget about fossilized poop. It's changed a lot of lives today, Ryan. And we're about to do a little more of that. These next two questions are sort of out of order, but it's almost like the person writing them doesn't know what they're doing. I don't know what's up with this. One of the things that we have a hard time with within GI is getting our younger members, including students, to join our technical committees. Ryan, I want you to do a testimonial for us. You've been involved with at least one technical committee for several years now. Why should younger members get involved with our technical committees in GI?
Yeah, I'd say it's one of the big things to be involved in, GI, ASCE, go to Geo-Congress, is the networking and the communication and sharing knowledge across the field, and also just, building up, your connections and staying in touch. You never know, like, hey, that person you met at Geo-Congress a couple of years ago, you're working on a project, or you have something come up, you're thinking, man, I really need to talk to someone about this thing. Wait, I know, I met that guy, I met that woman. The technical committees just kind of amplify that, because, I'm on the soil properties committee, and, everyone in there cares about soil properties. They care about testing soil. They care about saying, hey, we're going to go run these lab tests and then need to go model these, and somehow what's the best way to do that? Basically just gets that on steroids, and also lets you, bring up the stuff the problems you're having, the stuff that you care about, to be able to get those answers. The other thing that I've enjoyed by being part of this is also, giving credit and, helping build the reputation of people that you think deserve it. Because one of the things the technical committees do is recommend people for the paper awards, for, the talks. And, by being part of the committees, you get to be part of that discussion and say, hey, man, this person did this really great work. It's really helpful. We need to push in and get them acknowledged for that. And, it feels good to help your colleagues get the recognition they deserve for, the fabulous stuff we're all doing.
That was a fantastic answer, because fundamentally, I think we definitely feel this way on staff, right? We're here for the service. And so to point out that it's not even just about you and your professional advancement. That was really good. So now it's not even the second half of this question, but the second part of it, we're going to make you think back a little bit further here and how you got to this point where you were even on these technical committees. How did you first get involved with ASCE and GI?
Okay. So I did my undergrad at Washington State University. That's
we
where
see that we see the pennant behind you.
Yes, yep. I got the pennant up in the room, and we got a few of the WSU alums. I know you've had two of them so far on Director's Cut.
They're hard to find, but we do find. Them.
Colleen Blackland. Sorry, yep. When I knew her, she was Carlson. We actually went to Washington State at the same time. And Dr. Rodriguez Merrick, who's my colleague now, was a Washington State alum. But when I was there, the ASCE student group was really strong. And so I was taking the Introduction to Civil Engineering class, and they talked about, or Introduction to Engineering, one of the two. Can't remember. Don't want to say how old I am, but it's been a while. And they talked about the club, and Washington State did a phenomenal thing, and they had the student office for ASCE was on the main thoroughway. If you wanted to get to the big lecture hall, you had to walk by the ASCE office. And so they had mentioned this, and I see the doors open. I'm like, okay, I'll go talk to them. And so there was Adrienne Nikolic, who's a pretty active ASCE member. She was the president at the time, and then her vice president with Adrienne and another Adrienne. And I can't remember his last name right now, but I just remember his email address was Snow Giant, because this, I'm a pretty tall guy. He had about 6 inches on me. So, I'm this freshman showing up and saying, hey, I've heard about ASCE. And, Adrian Snow Giant goes and says, oh, we need a freshman representative, and just standing there looking down at me like, oh, you should join and be the freshman representative for the ASCE Student Society. And it was hard to say no in that situation. So I ended up getting onto the e-board for the ASCE student group at Washington State. I went to the leadership conferences, got involved. And then same thing when I got Texas A&M, the student group for the Geo-Institute there, phenomenal, got involved, got going to Geo-Congress. And, just really those student interactions really got me there. And the university's making it such a prevalent part of the groups at the various level, say giving that front office right in the main thoroughway was just phenomenal. And so that's kind of how I ended up getting, the kick in the butt to be involved. And once I was involved, I just enjoyed it. I love the networking, love meeting people, love trying to make a difference. It's yeah.
Oh, that was fantastic. And so for everybody out there, if you want to get involved in your student chapter, if you're a student watching this, remember, student membership in ASCE and GI is, of course, $0. You can join.
And you get a magazine.
Exactly. It doesn't cost you anything. And then to get involved in a technical committee, I always tell people there are 2 criteria. 1, you have to be interested. And 2, you need to be a human being. And as long as you meet those 2 criteria, it is very likely that the technical committee will have you.
Yeah, okay, and not to drag this out, but I do want to say that on the soil property committee, we have some industry people who come and and provide very good input because they're bringing the experiences they're having out. The committee just does not want us highfalutin faculty who are sitting there doing x-rays of fecal matter. We want everyone involved. We want to see your opinion. It's a community and everyone matters. You don't need to, because I just want to bring up, because I know a lot of the committees are run by professors. We want the industry. We want you all there. We want your input.
That might be the line of the year. Highfalutin faculty doing x-rays of fecal matter. Ryan Beemer. So I said that I had done a horrible job writing the order of the questions, but after you drop Snow Giant into the last answer, I feel like maybe there was some secret genius here. Ryan, what nickname from any stage of your life has stuck the longest?
So, not quite a nickname, but in high school, when I was back in school, Ryan and Brian were very popular names. So basically, what happened is if your name was Ryan or Brian, you did not go by Ryan or Brian. So most of us ended up going by our last names. So basically, all through my high school career, I was Beemer. And it was to the point that when I graduated high school, I literally had a friend come up to me and goes, Beemer, what's your first name? Know this person for 4+ years. We might have even gone to middle school together. Did not know what my first name was because I just went by Beemer. That was the name. It stuck a bit in, or a bit around in the undergrad. But now that I'm a professor, I'm Beemer again. I'm Dr. Professor Beemer. So that is definitely sticking around. That's what people know me as.
A couple of follow-ups here. One, we were talking before the interview about where those names came from.
Yeah.
Can you share where the frequency of that name Brian came from? We didn't know about Ryan so much, but Brian comes from, we think, a very specific place.
Yes. So I'd heard Ryan may have been an astronaut or something. I'm not sure. My mom had said she thinks it was an astronaut.
Good enough.
But Brian Boiano, is that the figure skater? Boitano. Brian Boitano apparently is the commonness of the name Brian because he was, the popular figure skater amongst the time. So yeah, no, I potentially have my name to thank for a figure skater.
Shout out to the Sarajevo Olympics, 1984. Now, the other follow-up question here, which I didn't think of earlier, I find it hilarious that this guy came up and asked you what your first name was after a graduation ceremony where you had your name read and walked across the stage. Was he not paying attention?
Well, it was before the ceremony.
Got it. Okay.
It was before the ceremony. So, it's my friend didn't fall asleep during the ceremony or anything. It was it was before the ceremony.
Well, there's a lot happening, you can't be faulted, I guess, for missing out on that.
Yeah, no, and there was a group of us. So there wasn't just because there was so many Ryan and Brian's with us, and we had other friends. So I had Tibbs and Benner and Little Toe, and there was a whole group of us that all just went by our last name.
We had, some of these are not suitable for director's cut, but in college, there was a group of 4 friends. This is in the late 90s, keep in mind. And one of the 4 friends was a woman. One of the guys was about 6'5" and had crazy hair. One guy had a shaved head and was about 5'6". And the girl's name was Eileen. It was unreal, the parallels between these 4 and the main Seinfeld characters. And so they all became the Seinfeld characters to us. We had no idea what these people's real names were, but they were the Seinfeld cast to us. So you are relatively new still to Virginia Tech. Before that, you were at UMass Dartmouth. I got that right. I almost said
you got it right the first
but
time.
I saved it at the last minute. Before that, though, you were doing research at the University of Western Australia, which, as the name suggests, is in Western Australia. I have tried to think about all the remote places in the world. I mean, obviously, it's on the Australian continent, which we can have another debate about continents and stuff if somebody wishes, but we're not going to do that right now. But Perth is really far from the next big city in a way that we don't have anything like that in North America. So for
probably Anchorage may be the closest.
Probably, yeah. Was Perth isolating, exhilarating, both, or neither?
Yeah, Perth was, it was interesting. I wouldn't necessarily say isolating, maybe a little bit, but it's, the city of Perth is fairly big. The oil and gas industry is very large out there. So, all the big oil and gas companies are out there. And so there's the big thing, 2 million in the city or something. So, it wasn't like you're, in a small town like I'm in now, Blacksburg. But it was more was interesting was because it was so far from everything else. There was just certain things when I moved out there in 2016 that I had taken for granted that you didn't have out there. So when I moved out there in 2016, I could only get DSL internet. So yeah, and the internet was metered. So you were given you can use this much data, in a month. and it was DSL, so it was crazy slow. The university had high-speed internet. They put in a thing specifically for the university, but the apartments, the suburbs did not have that. The other thing was basically online shopping wasn't really existent at the time. It had been already a problem in the U.S. But like I just remember there was a built-in bookshelf in my apartment, and I was trying to put my books up. They kept falling over. Like, I'm gonna go find a bookend. I went all over town trying to find bookends. I could not find bookends at any of the stores. I'm like, okay, no problem. I'm gonna go online. No place would ship out to Perth. I couldn't. So like I could not get bookends. Like it was just that crazy thing where like it didn't really feel isolating because we had a very good community, especially University of Australia, Mark Cassidy, Christoph Gowden, Mark Randolph, all the guys and all the other postdocs. Joe Tom, who's a Geo-Institute member, was out there at the time. They were all great, like from a community social side, not isolating, just from these things that you had gotten used to that just became less accessible was the really interesting part.
What I love is somebody's going to travel to Perth now or meet somebody from Perth and be like, I heard that you guys don't have bookends in Western Australia. Also, I wanna correct something here on behalf of Western Australia Telecom or whoever was providing this. Technically, DSL is high-speed internet, maybe by like the 2004 definition, but technically, I guess it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all relative. I went from cable internet in Texas to DSL, and having to have a phone line. I'd already gotten rid of my phone line when I was a grad student. But I will say now they had the big fiber optic rollout in Australia, so now Perth has fiber optic. So they've stepped above cable. But at the time, 2016, I was just going like, where have I moved to?
This next question, we went out to dinner with my parents on Saturday. A very nice restaurant, open since the 1750s. Sometimes you get that in Virginia. They had a couple of questionable desserts on the menu. Okay. And so I thought, Ryan, I would ask you, what dessert have you tried that you liked the least?
Okay, I am not a big cherry and chocolate guy.
Oh.
Yes, that combination, I know that's pretty popular. Chocolate strawberries, great. The chocolate, especially when you get the like maraschino type cherry, and they got they get the chocolate mousses with the cherry. That, I don't know, the combination of the cherry and the chocolate just does not do it for me.
So can you have ice cream that has cherry chunks in it? Would you be able to do that?
If it was chocolate in there, I mean, I'll eat it. I mean, I'm not, I'm not a.
This is an important distinction. I'm not turning it down.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, if it's cherry and chocolate, and if I had the choice between chocolate ice cream with cherries in it or vanilla, I'll go with vanilla.
Okay, so it's not a cherry thing. It's specifically the combination.
Yeah. No, so if you did like, what's the Italian one with the red, green, and white?
We've never gotten to say this on the show, so Spumoni.
Spumoni, yes, totally down with Spumoni because that's cherry flavored ice cream.
I haven't thought about Spumoni in about 15 years. Mm-hmm. What a magical show we have here. So we got to wrap up. We always try to do some crazy thing at the end where somebody's promoting something or looking ahead to the future, or every now and then we go with a killer would you rather question. Mm-hmm. And so this is what we deliver to you, Ryan Beemer. Would you rather make a career out of single PI, smaller dollar grants, or bigger interdisciplinary ones where you have to work with, and the word I used here was unexpected collaborators?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if you can't guess by my early research conversation, definitely the latter. I wouldn't be able to work on glauconite and fossilized fecal pellets, without my geology colleagues, without our clay mineralogy people. I love collaborating. We didn't talk about, but my other research area is the carbonate sediments. One of the 3D printed X-ray scans here of the carbonate grain. Published all those with micropaleontologists. I love working with people that know so much more than me on a really cool subject. I like learning new things. I like being told, hey, you're thinking about this wrong. if some physicist devises a way to shoot a particle accelerator through soil and they want me involved, I will be there with bells on. I love that type of research, and I hope I get to do as much of it as possible. It can be a bit difficult from the promotion and tenure practices we have in the U.S., but I'm going to do as much of it as I can and make it work.
What about the social sciences, though? It seems like you would have had the opportunity by now to work with anthropologists or something like that. Has that happened yet? Or
so, am I allowed to name drop other professional societies?
I mean, that's Ryan. We talked about bad DSL. We talked about, what did we talk about earlier? What was the first name drop again? There are no rules.
Okay. So I'm a committee member of the Offshore Site Investigation Committee, Offshore Site Investigation Geotechnics Committee for Society for Underwater Technology. That is an awesome committee because the members are geotechnical engineers, geologists, and underwater archaeologists.
Whoa.
So I haven't had a direct research project with underwater archaeologists, but you get to do with the committee, and they always have the coolest stuff. Plus the sunken vessels, wrecked planes, native inhabitant sites. There is just so much cool stuff that they find on the seafloor. So I've got to interact with them. As far as working with some of the side, I was involved with for short term with a grant with people from a public policy area that were trying to work with the EPA on looking at looking at ways cities can reduce greenhouse gases, if I can say that word right. And so I was kind of brought in as a civil representative to talk about, okay, with the infrastructure side, specifically with earthworks, geotechnics, what are things that they should be thinking about? Are they missing an area? Because all our members always complain about this, but no one ever thinks about what's underground. So it was it was great for me, even though it wasn't offshore, to be able to say, hey, think about what's underground, think of what we're doing with the soil. Geotech matters. So been able to do a little bit of that. I'd love to be part of a bigger grant, and get more of the social science, more of the archaeology, or anything else. Maybe if there's a artist that wants to do things about offshore energy, happy to collaborate and work with them.
That was amazing. Ryan, you were a tour de force today. We made it through all 10 questions. We got some great info. I never knew about beard maintenance until today. I loved that. You probably gave us the quote of the year, and I hope that all the highfalutin people out there enjoyed this episode of Director's Cut. If you did, and you probably did because you're here at the end, remember to click like, subscribe, and get notifications, and we will let you know every time we post something to the YouTube channel. Ryan, thank you so much for doing this. I hope it was fun.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely great. And you promised me I can make a call out at the end.
Oh, we have to, yes. I have one too, but you go first.
Club 96. Please support our students. Brad is doing some amazing things with Club 96. That's where we got our Trezagi bobblehead doll.
Ralph Peck's on the way.
Right, there's another one on the way.
We just are reviewing the actual proofs of it today.
Awesome. And then I got my hockey puck. I buy all the Club 96 stuff. I highly encourage everyone to do. Great things to put in the office that I can talk about with the undergrad students that come to office hours, and also helping a good thing. We really need to support our students. Yes. I know a lot of people, especially a lot of industry has been talking about it's hard to find people to hire and students. This is your way to help out. More money that goes into Club 96 supporting student activities, the more people are available to hire down the road. So please help out, support Club 96. Go buy the next bobblehead.
And we have a great program right now to endow the GI Student Participation Fund. We'll put a link to that down in the show notes so you can learn more or make your donation. My shout out was totally unrelated. Now you're far away, but we got to see if she watched to the end. Julie Peprocki, you got to tell us what the weather's like in New Hampshire when you watch this. I think we can't do this interview without having that. So Ryan, thanks again.
Hi, Julie. Hope it's going well. Sorry I moved so far away.
Thanks for doing this, and thanks for the shout out there at the end to all our fans for Director's Cut and all our viewers. We're going to see you next week with a new episode that we tape live in Pittsburgh at the Geostructures Conference, so you will not want to miss that. So again, we will see you with a brand new Director's Cut next week.
The famous one's from the movie Splash. You know, the one with the mermaid with Farrah Fawcett?
I don't, but now I'm going to.
So if you watch the movie, so the mermaid comes to New York City and, you know, gets legs
of course,
and goes
as
on.
they do.
And someone asks the mermaid, "What's your name?" Well, the mermaid standing on Madison Avenue looks up at the sign and says, "Madison, my name is Madison." Before that movie came out, there was like the record has like 2 girls in the US ever named Madison. After that, like it was the last name, like it's the last name of a president. Like that's the street's named after the president. And it became, because of the movie Flash and Farrah Fawcett, became a girl's name.
So I think one of the things that has fascinated me is like the tracking of the baby name popularity and stuff. I mean, I guess we have the data. It's easy to do. But like I'm amazed sometimes at the things we have no data for. And then like when you're going to have a baby, you can go look on all these sites and see how popular the kid's name was in 1895. Like, the interview are gold. And Ryan, we got to use the Farrah Fawcett thing.
Okay. Let me just double check it is Farrah Fawcett. Let me just double check before we
Well, we would
Splash.
fact check that in the show notes.
Splash movie. Daryl Hannah. I got it wrong. Daryl Hannah.
I mean,
close. I'm close.
It's a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other situation there, I think.
Yeah.